Hi everyone, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. In this video, I'm gonna take you guys to the southernmost island of the Asian continent located in Indonesia. Since we were already in Timur Island exploring the Indonesia, Timor-Leste border areas in previous videos, we decided to swoop this opportunity to also attempt to visit and explore the southernmost island of Indonesia in the Asian continent called Ndana Island, a tiny island located just off the southern coast of Rote Island, which is a sizable island off the southwest of Timor Island, bordering directly with the maritime territory of Australia to the south. It could also be argued that South Island of Cocos Islands belonging to Australia in the Indian Ocean is the southernmost island of Asia, if you consider these islands as part of Asia, but for the purpose of this video, we're just gonna consider them as part of Oceania, since Australia is part of the Oceanian region. So, our journey starts in port of Ndao in Kupang, where we had to take a 2-hour ferry ride to the town of Ba'a on Rote Island. Rote Islands are a group of islands with very distinctive cultures, ethnicities, and languages of their own.
Oke, selamat datang di wilayah paling selatan di Indonesia, Pulau Rote, yang terdiri dari 96 pulau, dan ini Pulau Rote yang paling besar di antara semua pulau-pulau.
Roni pe saya sie, nanti no ya irasa warung dia sie dia pas.
The languages are all part of the Austronesian language family that most native Indonesian languages belong to, but they're mostly not mutually intelligible with Indonesian nor with the languages on Timor Island. Rote Islands are also the origin of the music instrument sasandu, a traditional string instrument made out of the leaves of Asian palmyra trees, which are in abundance here. To our accommodation in the southwestern end of the island in a village called Boa, the southernmost permanently inhabited village of Indonesia in Asia, and one of the two well-known surf resort villages in Rote alongside Nemberala next to it. The coastal area here offers some of the best waves Indian Ocean has to offer and has attracted surfers from all over the world. Is our accommodation in Boa, a beautiful bungalow resort with an open-air concept, which means there are no windows and the bungalow gets its cooling by the constant cool sea breeze.
Ada 2 tingkat, di bawah ada living room, ada peti, sama dapur.
Ini ngomong sama siapa?
Ini aku ngomong sendiri di kamera. Ini kamar mandi ya. Full outdoor. Tuh, kamarnya di atas atapnya, dalam atapnya.
We managed to get a hold of the number of one of the local fishermen from a nearby fisherman village called Waiseli, who would take us to Ndana Island with his boat. We negotiated a deal that very night and he agreed to meet us in the morning at around 9.
Hai semua, ini hari berikutnya setelah kita sampai di Pulau Rote kemarin, dan kita sekarang bersiap-siap untuk menempuh perjalanan ke Pulau Ndana. Can't wait.
Following breakfast, we jumped on our rented motorbike and went on a half-an-hour journey through bumpy and hilly terrain. It was an immediate challenge for me as someone who just learned how to ride the motorbike the day before, but thankfully we managed to arrive in one piece.
أنا سوني وبوه هنا. هو يوقف تروح كبيس. دليل.
This is the village of Waiseli, inhabited by mostly fishermen families and seaweed cultivators, as this region of Rote is known to grow some of the best seaweed in Indonesia. You can also see, as this is one of the villages in the outermost part of Indonesia, bordering with Australia, the houses here are intentionally painted in red and white, which are the colors of the Indonesian flag, to possibly act as territorial marker and to encourage patriotism among the locals. As there are no regular transport services, Ndana Island is only reachable via hiring a boat across from one of the fishermen in Oiseli and 2 other villages nearby. This is Captain Philip, who will be sailing us there today, and joining with us are his son and one of the Navy military personnel stationed in the village. The water here is perhaps the clearest water I've ever seen anywhere, and just looks like a vast natural tropical swimming pool. You just want to swim in all day. From Oiseli, the island's main landing beach is about 6.5 nautical miles away, and the boat ride takes more or less 1 hour depending on the size of the waves on the way there. Now we're heading south to exit the bay area and into the open ocean, which is the real obstacle of this journey, to sail through the Indian Ocean waves. Here inside the bay area, you can see some seaweed cultivation area marked by these lines of floating empty bottles that are used by the farmers to keep the seaweed off the seabed. Finally, welcome to Ndana Island, the southernmost island of the Asian continent. We were immediately struck by the pristine state of nature on the island, from its crystal clear water, white sandy beach, and its savanna interior.
Orang asli dari penghuni pulau sudah bang. Mereka datang cari hidup di sini.
Oh, mereka ikan deh. Harus lapor dulu ya Pak, sebelum mancing juga ya. Oh ini lagi mancing Pak?
Iya mancing. Kalau cuaca ekstrim mereka tidak bisa pulang.
Oh gitu. Oh pasirnya lembek gitu. Pasirnya lembek-lembek nih. Nih. Pasir yang halus, lebih halus lagi.
The island is about 13 kilometers square in size, and now we're walking further south to our first stop on the island, the statue of the famous General Sudirman. As we're visiting the island during dry season, the grassland is all withered to a beautiful brown color, which really helps fuel the African savanna feel. This is the inscription built and signed by the then Minister of Defense of Indonesia, stating the full sovereignty of Indonesia over the island. In the middle of the savannah stands majestically the statue of the famous national independence figure of Indonesia, General Sudirman, an important high-ranking military figure during the Indonesian National Revolution. This statue is made to face the Indian Ocean as a symbolic guardian of Indonesia's southernmost frontier. The island is also made as a reference point for Indonesia to draw and establish its maritime territorial borderline with Australia to the south. It is also important to note that it is imperative and obligatory for any visitors to report and ask for permission to the island's Navy base camp before visiting, as this helps them avoid clashes with ongoing military activities and facilitate rescue missions in case of emergency situation.
Ya, wisatawan mancanegara, wisatawan banyak juga yang datang sini untuk surfing, untuk ada snorkeling, soalnya seperti yang sudah dilihat tadi, memang luar biasa sekali pantainya di sini. Terumbu karangnya masih terjaga dan ombaknya sangat bagus untuk surfing, berselancar. Tapi mungkin untuk peselancar yang tingkat agak advance ya.
The island is also now a designated nature reserve area protecting many types of flora, fauna and its unspoiled coral reefs. One of the most common among the population are the Javan rusa, which is a deer species currently under threat due to declining population. They are nocturnal, in other words, are generally active during the night, so we didn't see any while we were there. There are no permanent inhabitants on this island. It is currently a military base and has been one ever since during the World War. There are currently only about 34 military personnel from the Army and Navy divisions of Indonesian National Army who are all stationed on the island on a rotational basis. And this is the main barrack where they live, cook, eat, work out and do other recreational activities. As an outermost island, the island is situated adjacent to one of the entryways for international vessels to enter Indonesian inland waters. The Navy is tasked to constantly guard and patrol the area. Now we were told that the direct hiking path to the two spots we wish to visit are going to be quite complicated due to the current high tide, but thankfully the Commander-in-Chief Mr. Agus was so kind as to allow us to borrow their RV motorbike and one of his personnel to take us around in it. Plus, the nice soldiers also gave us this tasty high protein and energy military cookie as a snack before our little adventure. After some waiting, our RV motorbike is finally ready and we set off on our adventure across the island. We drove through the savanna grassland and the surrounding view is unlike I've ever experienced in Indonesia before. This is almost like straight out of National Geographic channel where you have the savanna and we're driving through it on our little safari expedition. The difference is that there are no lions or other wild animals here, but instead you get a surrounding stunning backdrop view of the vast ocean as a compensation. It was midday and the sky was clear. We somehow didn't apply any sunscreen, which was a bad idea as the sun ray was starting to blaze into our skin. Our next stop is called Ndana, which literally means red lake. We had to park the RV just outside of the woodland area in the central part of the island, through which we had to hike through for a further kilometer to reach the lake.
Bisa berapa tim? Bisa 6 tim, Bang.
Merah. Coba saya cek.
Kayaknya rasa tapi merah dia.
Menurut cerita orang-orang rakyat Osel itu emang pernah ada orang hidup di sini ratusan tahun sini. Buktinya ini, contohnya ini kayak batu-batu untuk pondasi kan? Itu kan orang-orang dulu yang nyusun. Ada sih maksudnya turunan dari sini. Itu berapa orang katanya orang-orang penduduk seberangan. Ada sini dulu hidup orang-orang 200-an tahun lalu.
Kalau ini danaunya kenapa merah?
Danau merah ya mungkin dari dulunya sudah merah.
Memang dari dulu.
Dari dulu dari.
No one seems to be sure of what causes the slight red color of the lake, but the most eerie one I found online is that it's the accumulation of blood that has been washed off various weapons into the lake during the past wars, or it could just be a bunch of red-colored organisms living in the lake. Now we were planning to visit the southernmost point of the island, which is about 2.5 kilometers from here, but I didn't understand that travel times would be so long due to the indirect path of the RV motorbike, its relatively slow speed, and the lack of direct path access from Ndana to the southernmost point, which forced us to circle back around the island to get there. Unfortunately, by the time we reached the base camp, it was already getting late and we were warned by the captain that the waves are about to get dangerously bigger once the sun is down, so we chose to head back instead since we weren't allowed to spend the night on the island.
Inilah Pulau Terselatan Indonesia, Pulau Ndana. Orang Australia. Iya. Jadi terus sampai sana itu sudah perairan Australia.
Udah sana apa? Australia.
Ya, kalau sana ada pulau-pulau pasir di sana kan?
Iya di sana. Iya.
Ashmore Reef kalau sana namanya. Dia udah teritori Australia.
Ya, sebenarnya ini
Tapi masih bisa naik boat ya, naik boat ke sana bisa ya?
ke Furli.
Ya, ke yang
Jauh.
Pulau Pasir tuh bisa
Oh,
tapi.
bisa,
Ya,
tapi kan belum ada, katanya belum ada yang pernah ke sana dari yang ke sini, belum ada.
nggak ada yang jaga kayak sana ya.
Nggak ada. Itu main itu yang
Iya. Lebih gampang jalan sebenarnya.
bisa, tapi kan kalau jalan itu kalau pagi airnya kan surut kan.
Iya.
Kalau jalan yang kayak gini kan airnya udah naik.
Iya, iya benar.
Nggak bisa lewat pier lagi.
Yalah, makasih banyak.
Iya.
Bang. Kita balik ke sana ya.
Oh iya.
Ya. Sebelum ya.
Now, as our little adventure is coming to an end today, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you for watching this video today, and a massive thank you for subscribing and showing your support to the channel. I really truly appreciate it, guys. And please do subscribe if you haven't to follow me on my next curious adventures exploring amazing and unique cultures and places in Indonesia and across the world. Until next time, let's travel and discover.
Mau tes dulu.
Susu apa?
Waktunya pulang ke Kuba. Lagi. Kawan.
Mereka sabung pengatai.
Dan itu daerah sudah bagian dari Malaysia. Ini kita sampai di perbatasan yang sebenar-benarnya sekarang.